Namibia has oil and gas. We cannot claim this to be a Namibian resources. It's a resources in our region. It's a resource in the neighborhood, and we can all benefit from it.
Ces travailleurs de la société nouvelle en entrance SA.
Wow, revolutionary greetings all of you, my dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans. You are most welcome. From what you heard, that is President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the president of Namibia. If you ask yourself, how many African leaders can stand up and speak without fear of any contradiction and telling Africans that the resources that we have or I have in my country is for the benefit of entire region or entire continent? Do we have such kind of leaders who can stand up and fight and make sure that the resources that they have is for the benefit of entire continent, not for the Europeans? Do we have such kind of leader? So, my dear lovely family, let us listen. A former president of Ghana, President Nana Akufo, when he met with U.S. delegation at Washington. Listen what he said.
Today, Russian mercenaries are on our northern border. Burkina Faso has now entered into an arrangement to go along with Mali in employing the Wagner forces there. I believe a mine in southern Burkina has been allocated to them as a form of payment for their services. Prime Minister of Burkina Faso in the last 10 days has been in Moscow. And to have them operating on our northern border is particularly...
Yes, that is the kind of African leader that we had at that time. So just imagine, he's an African president speaking like that in US, telling America that Burkina Faso has offered Russian Wagner minerals. And listen to, you heard the story of US General talking about Captain Ibrahim Traore using gold reserve to protect himself. You may ask yourself, where did US General get those information? So you can see, information is from our own leaders. So we are betraying each other. So it's about the same leaders who are telling us, young people, to be a Pan-Africanist, to have a Pan-Africanism spirit. So if you heard us, you don't have a Pan-Africanism spirit, do you expect young people can have such kind of spirit? It's about the same leaders who are telling us Africa has to unite. And when they turn around, they betray one another. So I think, my dear lovely family, you have get the point that we need leaders who can speak on behalf of Africans, not who is going to betray our mother continent, Africa. My dear lovely family, let us now also listen again from President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the president of Namibia. Welcome.
Let us continue our collaboration to ensure holistic regional integration, including in the area of safety and security. We all know peace and stability is prerequisite for development. We remain focused and will continue to remain focused because the interest is, what do we do for our people, for our citizens, to create employment in our respective countries, particularly to our young people who deserve nothing but the best from us. Because we know that once people are employed, they will be able to take care of themselves. And in that way, we are addressing the gap between the haves and the have-not and eradicate poverty in our countries, thereby ensuring that the peace and stability that we are enjoying today will be sustained.
Yes, welcome back, my dear lovely family friends. Now you can see the difference between political leader and the revolutionary leader. President Nana Addo Akufo was a political leader, was not a revolutionary leader. That's why he's spoken like that in the US on the issue of Burkina Faso. But President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, she is a revolutionary leader. And that's why she is warning African leaders that more coups are coming if we are not going to create jobs. You may ask yourself, how? Because all of us, we know that Africans, we are famous for exporting raw materials, our natural resources into raw forms. That means we are exporting jobs. We are creating jobs to others. While our young men and women, who are many, 60% of our population are young people, less than 30 years. They don't have job. They don't have something to do. All resources are being taken away and creating jobs outside there. So, and those politicians or those political leaders who are working closely with those who are exploiting us, they're living in the good life. They're surrounded by policies. They're surrounded by guides. They're surrounded by military. They're protecting themselves. But the day will come when these young men and women will ask themselves, what wrong have we done in this continent? Because we have seen examples in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, when the people decided to take their responsibilities. What happened in Mali, Niger was not a military coup. It was a people or citizen coup. And that things will not stop there, will happen in any other countries. If these countries are led by political leaders are not going to create jobs. If you are listening carefully what President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has said, you can understand that she's calling for African leaders to create jobs for young men and women of this continent. Because without doing so, in the near future, there will be no peace in this continent. Because these young men and women, they want their needs. We have seen many of our young men and women running away from this continent, from our countries. Some of them died in oceans, in seas, and in the deserts. But this time they are not going to run away. They are going to remain here. They are going to fight with us. They are going to fight for survival. And at that moment, there will be no anyone who will try to stop them. And that's why you see in Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, after coming to power, he took control of natural resources. He started building industries. Instead of roads being built by Chinese and Europeans, it took more than 1,500 young Burkinabe to China to learn road construction and building construction. Then they came back. After coming back, we shared in this platform. Captain Ibrahim Traoré bought a lot of construction equipment and given to those young men and women. Right now, as I speak to you now, young people in Burkina Faso are constructing their roads. Many things are being done in Burkina Faso. And you see motivation from young people. Now, Burkina Faso has succeeded to manufacturing electric cars. We see, and they have already in the streets, electric cars. We saw military armor vehicle being manufactured in Burkina Faso. And recently I saw also in Niger, and I will share, maybe a few days to come, I will share what's happening in Niger. You can see how Africans people are so intelligent. So what they need is to give them opportunities, to give them space to display their abilities. The thing that has been difficult for many years because of these political leaders who are not visionary. We have so many non-visionary political leaders. We want a revolutionary, visionary African leaders who can think about the future. You heard from Madam President talking about issue of peace and security through job creation. So how many, that's why I asked, how many African leaders can stand up and say, I have a oil, in my country. This oil is for the benefit of African people. But what we are doing is to find Chinese, to find Europeans, to find the Americans, welcome those people. These are good investors. They invest, of course, whatever they are doing. They take those resources, whether they had a little value, then they take to their homes. A few days, they bring back, finish the product. We become consumers for the things that we are not manufacturing. So for how long shall we continue to do like that? For how long? Don't we see this is a silence bomb? Don't we see this is a silence bomb? My dear lovely family, keep this video. One day, if it is not in our maybe lifetime, but these things will happen if we are not careful. If we are not going to create jobs to many Africans, this continent is not going to be at ease. These young men are tired. We have saw Gen Z in Kenya. We have seen young people demonstrated in Nigeria and many other places in the continent of Africa. It's not about maybe violation or crime as people sometimes demanding. It's not about maybe chaos. There are those who say they are being sponsored. Yes, they can be sponsored if you don't have given them opportunities. If you sponsor them, they will not do what they are doing. So we have no need to blame anyone. We have to blame ourselves. Why are we exporting our natural resources into law forms? Why don't we do like Burkina Faso, adding value to our God? Why don't we allow young people to become innovators, the same other countries are doing? Why the Chinese are good manufacturers of the things that are made that are in Africa? There's countries that they don't have even the sun, but they are good in manufacturing of solar. Why not Africans? So we need critical thinkers. Many of our politicians, they are not thinkers. You know, one thing that Africans, we were manipulated is this system of democracy. Right now, if you have money, whether you are being sponsored or given by someone, if you have money, you are a good politician. You are a good leader. Even if you have nothing in your head, but if you have cash, you have money, you are a good leader in Africa. And that's why you see things are not happening. I was listening President Kagame one day, and of course I shared in this platform, when he said that the problem of Africa right now is that the current leadership are not implementing what they have agreed. For instance, African leaders have agreed for African passport. Have you seen African passport? Except the day of inauguration. How many Africans have African passport? How many Africans know Africa continental free trade areas? These young men. How many Africans know Agenda 2063? But leaders, they know themselves. They keep those documents. They keep those things in their cabinets. They hide everything. But when they come out, they looks like they know many things. But let us give these documents to young people, because these young people at the year 2063, they will be there. But there are some leaders who are old. For instance, Paul Biya of Cameroon, 92 years old. Do you think at the year 2063 he will be there and doing something? So I think we need to give these documents to young men and women. So my dear lovely family, I shared this video purposely for we Africans to understand our real situation. We want Africans to be at peace. We want this continent to be at peace. But this continent can be at peace if we can create jobs. Those who are joining jihadists and fighting their governments and sometimes being paid are those who are not going to school. Why? Because of this conflict. If we are not going to school, we are not going we will remain ignorance. If we remain ignorance, will be used. So, and if we will be used, we destabilize our continent. Even a little development that we have will disappear. So, my dear lovely family, we need to make sure that we call our leaders to stop exporting our natural resources into law form and calling those who are exporting our natural resources to add value. That is what, that is my message. My dear family, let us not speak for too long. Have spoken many things, but one thing that we need to know, that we are not at a good condition. We need to create jobs. Without creating jobs, more young men and women will die trying to run away. Many young men and women will join these crime groups, and our mother continent Africa will not be at peace. What's happening in Sudan, you may think will not happen to you, but one day it will happen to you. What happened to Rwanda can happen to your country. What we need to do is to make sure that we work hard to maintain peace by creating jobs to our young men and women. Up to that, let me say thank you. Have a nice time. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa.